Hey guys, good afternoon. So let's continue with our workshops. And in this workshop, I'm going to be talking about the financial space. So two companies, Satin Creditcare and Shriram Finance. So there's a reason why I chose these two companies in this workshop, because what in the market is like these stocks are coming back up very well. I mean, both these two companies are doing very well after COVID, yet their stocks are cheap. Okay, so there are many a times when you see, right, like there are stocks that are below book value, but the company is coming out with a tremendous set of number. But then what happens is like we rush and buy those stocks without doing a detailed analysis. Like, why is the stock still below book value, right? So I mean, market is not crazy, right, to give some stocks like at 5, 6, 7 times book, and some stocks are at below book, right? Having said that, if you catch something early and you can see the trend going forward, like and you can catch it before everybody else, you can still make a lot of money, right? So today we are going to be analyzing two companies jinka results are बहुत good, right? They're making a lot of changes in their business models, and the stocks are cheap. Okay, so उसी वजह से, and I started tracking this business, both these businesses, from this quarter only, and going forward would want to see the consistency in their performances before making an investment decision. So one company is called Satin Creditcare and the other company is called Shriram Finance. Okay, so I'll just share my presentation before I start proceedings. Okay, तो अगर हम satin credit care का बात करें, so let's look at the slideshow. First, again, having said that, when we're dealing with NBFCs, we have to see like, okay, like which is the geography that they're in, what are the customers they are dealing with, right? And then of course we look at the AUM, the PAT, then we have to look at asset quality, ROE, right? Management outlook, and all these things, which are the basic checklists that we need to see when we are analyzing financials. So Satin is a pan-India rural microfinance player in India, right? And as you can understand, right, like the focus remains on microfinance because it's one of the space that is doing exceedingly well in the past year and a half, and the outlook is very, very good. So we should be doing better if we, like, say, for example, like put more of an energy towards researching these kind of businesses than, say, for example, reading large banks, right? So Satin is one of the companies in the rural microfinance player. So they're in rural, so they're not into any urban. So if you are in a big city, you won't see a Satin Creditcare ka branch anywhere. So they have three divisions, right? Can you see here, right? Majority of the division is like microfinance, right? Around 8,000 crore of its loan book, right? Which is in the microfinance division. And they have two very small divisions. One is a housing finance division, which is mostly in the affordable housing category. And the other is a retail MSME division, which is like, say, for example, like if a bit of a high ticket size loan, right? Because we have done microfinance companies in previous workshops, right? Microfinance division mein, the average ticket size is approximately 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rupees per customer, right? But यहाँ पे in a MSME loan, where let's say, for example, you want to like set up a kirana store or you want to set up a flower shop, वहाँ पे you need 5, 10, 15 lakhs. So वहाँ पे भी they have started a retail MSME division. So now can you see here, majority of the book comes from the microfinance division, which is the joint lending group wala jo philosophy here. The new portfolio of Satin, which is 94% of AUM, originated from July 21 onwards, is showing excellent performance. Now here is the thing here. Now think about this. Satin का जो पूरा portfolio है, if you just calculate 8,000 here and 1,000 ऊपर नीचे करके, the entire size of the portfolio is around 9,000 crore, correct? Out of 9,000 crore, 94% of the AUM originated after COVID. Now, there is one of the things which you need to be taking into consideration. If majority of the book is originating after COVID, that means the book before COVID has been more or less washed away. मतलब COVID से पहले जो book था, COVID के बाद इतने provisions बढ़ा that you had to, like, you had to make a lot of provisions and you have to let go of a lot of bad loans and you have to restart. So Satin is a company which basically has restarted the business to a certain extent. उस तरीके से आप देख सकते हो, because 94% of the loan book has been originated after July 2021. Got it? So you can also see here asset quality has improved drastically with GNPA at 3.2% versus GNPA of 8% in the same quarter last fiscal, right? So of course, say for example, अब आपके पुराने loan book में अगर आप bad loans करके उसको wipe out कर दोगे, so existing book का तो GNPA घट भी जाएगा, correct? And also having said that, after July 2021 में now that the cycle is coming back up, आप देखोगे कि like the new book is currently behaving well. It doesn't mean, because क्या होता है when you give out a loan in let's say one fiscal year, right? वो लोन अच्छा है या बुरा वो अगले 3-4 साल बाद समझ में आता है. You don't give out a loan in the month of Jan and February में you don't get the problem, right? So problems बाद में दिखता है. And now that we are in a bull market, right? Especially in the microfinance space, right? Microfinance companies won't report, poor asset quality. They won't report these kind of things, right? इनका asset quality भी better होता जाएगा. Disbursements will be all time high. PAT will be all time high, and you will see all the microfinance companies coming out with record numbers in every quarter, right? But this is the thing. I hope you guys understand कि like if majority of the book, like the new portfolio, has been originated after COVID, that means pre-COVID का book में क्या हुआ? That means they struggled, right, during COVID. That's why 94% of AUM has been originated after July 2021. Now let's understand कि like the diversified geographical presence here. अगर आप देखोगे तो they're more or less diversified across the country, right? So and then you can clearly see as well, right? They have over 28 lakh active clients and they are into 95,000 villages and they have 11,000 employees. So more or less फैला हुआ business है. Again, having said that, again, it's very, very critical to see where Satin are in India. So in India, most of the places that they are in, like for example, UP में 27% वहाँ पे है, which is the major state जहाँ पे the company is present. उसके बाद there's Bihar, and then of course there's single digit में है presence in Punjab, MP, West Bengal, Delhi, and all that. Yeah. Now, can you see here, right? The disbursements have gone up by 57% YOY. PAT has gone up by 59% by YOY. Cost to income has come up. ROA, ROE has number gone up. So here is the thing, right? People have come up and asked me, like, hey, look at Satin's ROE number in Q4. It's 20%. Results have been great. Then why is the stock below book value? I'll show you the stock. So if you look at Satin Creditcare, the stock is currently at 172 when the book value is 196. So why is the stock still below book value? Are you getting my point here? See, stock is trading at 0.8 times its book value. The reason is this, right? I mean, see, the market would want to see the performance of this existing book going forward. If they can maintain good, healthy asset quality going forward, then the stock can always get re-rated, which they have been doing in the last 6, 8, 10 months because पुराने book के bad loans को इन्होंने हटा दिया और जो existing जो नया book है, they have been performing well, but they haven't been performing well for a long period of time for us to make a conclusion कि wow, this management is great, they can really handle this book well. राइट सो बिकॉज प्रॉब्लम क्या होता है माइक्रो फाइनेंस में आगे जाके कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आएगा सैटिन सबसे पहले वो लुढ़क जाएगा राइट तो उस एंगल से भी आप देख सकते हो सो यहाँ पे आप अगर देखिए कि लाइक द आरओई नंबर इज गोइंग अप राइट बट दिस आर ऑल द पोस्ट कोविड नंबर्स सो what are the things that the company is looking for? They're looking for, again, management commentary and outlook is very critical to understand. So they're looking for a 25% growth in AUM in FY24 and ROA बोल रहा है 3.5% plus होगा because of course ROA high होगा ना थोड़ा बहुत because having said that COVID के बाद with the new book and disbursing high yielding loans to people in the village, right? So it's time things are getting back, right? Collection efficiency coming back up and of course Satin like probably like अभी तो नया book से चालू किया है 94% of AUM. So the ROE number can be at 3.5% as per the management expectation. Disbursements has been the highest in the quarter for the company. This also shows the bullishness in the whole and the tailwind in the whole microfinance segment. Record profits of 264 crore in FY23, right? Now, here is the thing, right? I would want you to to understand one thing here. Like think about this. If you have a 9,000 crore book, ठीक है उसमें से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आप देखोगे कि लाइक 94% ऑफ द बुक हैज बीन 94% of the book has been generated like disbursed and generated however we look at it post covid that means the pre covid book उतना कुछ है नहीं जो आज भी existing मतलब standard assets में है right so if you are recording profits अब देख रहे हो वो तो आप FY23 का FY22 के एंगल से देख रहे हो on this new book right so I would have been much more happy if I had seen कि like एक लोन बुक में बहुत सारे what do you call like traditional loans भी है right तो वो होता तो मैं इस profit after tax को बहुत अच्छे से लेके आपको बताता कि see profit after tax is all time high disbursements are all time high in Q4 maybe we should look more into the stock but having said that like since most of the book is like new right? Generated after July 2021. We have to take all these numbers with a pinch of salt. But again, having said that, balance sheet is healthy with capital adequacy ratio of 26%. Can get the gearing ratio up from 3 to 4.5 few, because gearing ratio shows the aggressiveness of the management. So jitna gearing ratio badhaoge, or if you deploy that capital well, lend it well, then your ROE number can go up for the business, right? So that's another thing. So again, having said that, now look at this. This is the thing, right? This is the thing that I would want to say. In the last 4 to 5 years, the company has written off 1,000 crore, right? Now think about this. Last 4-5 saal mein 1,000 crores have been written off by the management, correct? What is the profit here? In a record year, right? Profits are 264 crore. That means in the last 3 to 4 years, इन्होंने कुछ 4-5 साल का प्रॉफिट ही गायब कर दिया, right? If I look at 264 to be a standard, I know it's not standard because it's a record number, but अगर हम बेसिक से ले कि 150-200 करोड़ का अगर साल का प्रॉफिट करता था, तो सोचिए अगर आपने 1,000 करोड़ गायब किया उससे पहले, मतलब अपने 4-5 साल, because 4 into 250 is around, or 5 into 200 is 1,000, right? मतलब when you have written off 1,000 करोड़ का लोन, आपका 4-5 साल का प्रॉफिट गायब हो गया था, right? So that is another way of you can look at it. This is why financials and the leverage business are very, very risky, right? Because they play on debt. They don't have much of equity. So जब आपका लोन बुक का अगर 5-10% भी चला जाता है, right? तब भी आप देखोगे आपका 3-4-5 साल का प्रॉफिट गायब हो जाता है. गायब means vanish. Okay, so now can you see here, point number 7 is again, like they have this MSME and HF housing finance segment. They can expect that to grow at 2025. But here is the last line also. This shows the bullishness of the NBFC companies going forward. Management ने ये भी बोला that the entire microfinance institution, like the sector in India, can grow 5x in the next 5 years, right? So that also shows the sector is in immense tailwind. Okay, so before going to Shriram, I hope you get the point here. Like, why is the stock below book value? Because there are a lot of intricate problems in this company. I would track this business and I would see how they perform in FY24. And थोड़ा सा अगर legacy loans के तरफ हम जाएंगे तो वहाँ पे दिखेंगे कि because if you have wiped out 1,000 crore from your book, right, and 94% of the book is like generated after COVID, right, and you make 260 crore ka profit, then I would really want to see like how the book behaves in the year and a half going forward. But then again, having said that, if they come back and do very well, the stock will be re-rated, and then people will come and tell me like, oh, I missed this company, right? But that's a risk you have to take, right? Today, if you buy this stock below book, you're actually playing with fire. I would say playing with Satin is playing with fire. अगर ये खेल जाता है 2-3 साल में, तो you can make some money out of Satin. लेकिन ऐसे कंपनी सबसे पहले प्रॉब्लमेटिक होता है जब अगला कोई प्रॉब्लम आएगा इकोनॉमी में. So वो आपको ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा. So these are the companies that you can't think long term. You can play the momentum of microfinance with these kind of companies and get out जब भी आपको कोई प्रॉब्लम दिखे. So no long term holding with these kind of companies. Now let's move on to Shriram Finance. Shriram Finance, Satin के जैसा नहीं. Shriram Finance is a way more established businesses. So पढ़ते हैं Shriram Finance के बारे में. So it's a vehicle finance NBFC. So if you have seen Shriram Transport Corporation and everything, so Shriram is basically mostly a lender to the commercial vehicle segment in India. So it's a strong play on the CV cycle revival in India. So अब जब देखोगे COVID के बाद से the commercial vehicle segment has come back up. The segment which suffered a lot even like 3-4 years like pre-COVID. Right? So commercial vehicle segment coming back up gives a big boost to Shriram. Why? Because if you look at the AUM ka breakup, the loan book ka breakup of Shriram, 50% of the loans are given to commercial vehicle and 18% given to the passenger vehicle segment. That means what? Shriram is mostly an auto financer. But what they're trying to do recently with a merger is like they're trying to become a retail financer. Right? Previously there was only an auto financer. So matlab kya? Shriram was a very, very cyclical business. Because auto cycle in this country is cyclical, right? Auto sector is cyclical in nature. So, and by the way, people ask me why is auto cycle cyclical? Because जब भी economy में कोई problem आता है, people postpone buying cars, right? People don't postpone buying FMCG products. That is why auto is more cyclical than let's say FMCG in India. So now what they're trying to do, if you see this, CV, PV, and CE is commercial, construction equipment. Sorry. So that means this is like 75% of the book. But now can you see, right? Now they have added an MSME segment, right? This is small business loan, right? Two-wheeler loan 5% and gold and personal loan is 6%. So that means what? Shriram Finance is established as the largest retail NBFC after the merger of Shriram Transport Finance and Shriram City Union Finance. So Shriram Transport Finance, the CV wala player. City and Shriram City Union Finance, a two-wheeler player. Now, the merged entity is trying to be a diversified lender And that's why, again, having said that, their merged numbers are given in Q4 FY23. So Q4 FY22 के साथ, please don't compare these numbers. Also, I did show that number, but then it's important for you to understand that like merged entity ka number should not be, it's not an apples to apples comparison. But having said that, now you can clearly understand even after the merger going forward, right? Shriram will consistently stay to be a commercial vehicle, commercial vehicle cyclical play, right? Because 50% of the book is still CV, unless and until they get gold and personal loan and MSME to, let's say, for example, 35-40% of the book, Shriram remains a commercial vehicle play. Now, can you see these numbers? I told you already, because these numbers cannot be comparable because now there are merged entities, City Union Finance and Shriram Transport kar liya. But again, having said that, some things I would want to put you into focus is the ROE is at 12.2%, right? So this is again a number that I don't like in a financial. Like you have seen my housing finance ka workshop. I don't like ROEs of 13, 14, 15, 16%. So Shriram has a lot of work in their hand. One of the other reasons for their merger is to become more lean, is to become more efficient, is to cross-sell more of its products and have an ROE number, say, north of 15, 16%. But again, having said that, you can see strong balance sheet, capital adequacy ratio is pretty high, right? And there you can also see, right, the asset quality is improving, right? With gross stage 3 is nothing but gross NPA at 6.2% versus 7.7% in the same quarter last year. Okay, they also have a housing division which is growing 50% YOY, but of course it's a very small part of the book. Considering now the book is 1.85 lakh crore, the housing is a very small part of the total book. They also have a Shriram Auto Mall. So that's nothing but an online marketplace. It's for the for buying and selling of pre-owned vehicles and equipment buyers and sellers. So Shriram Auto Mall is also backed by Car Trade Tech, right? So nothing but it's like an Amazon. It's like an Amazon of used cars, Amazon of used trucks, right? And uske wahan pe aake buying and selling hota rehta hai. And of course, this company makes through money through commissions, and car trade bhi yahan pe hai. So basically now you understand the business model. It's a diversified NBFC ho chuka hai after the merger, right? But they're still majorly an auto lender, okay? And they're an auto lender, but since they have a big book and they are historically a big company, so inka ROE number is not that great. So yahi aata hai dusra wala sawal. So let's go back. Satin ka to I guess you guys understood ke why the share price is below book value, because Satin में majority share बाजार में जैसे मेरे जैसे और भी लोग होंगे जो इसको उतना ट्रस्ट नहीं कर रहा है, ठीक है? बट गोइंग फॉरवर्ड अच्छा परफॉर्म करता रहेगा तो Satin भी बुक वैल्यू के ऊपर चला जाएगा. दूसरा अगर मैं श्रीराम का देखूं, हाँ, तो ये भी आप देखोगे ना, श्रीराम के लिए भी people have come up to me and asked like, we can get a valuation, re-rating and all that. Of course you can, right? Going forward, अगर merger के बाद, if you can get the merger benefits, right, like the synergy benefits, and going forward you can improve your ROE number. Of course, this stock has a lot of scope for improvement, because ये आपको 1.2, 1.4 times book में मिल रहा है. It can go up to 2.5 times book, but depending on the performance of the company going forward. Okay, that's probably the thing there. Now look at the management commentary and outlook. One of the things I did not like about Shriram is like, of course I do understand why they said it, because it's a big loan book, right? मतलब it's not a loan book जो हमने आज तक जो microfinance companies किए, ये एक बड़ा company है, 1.8 lakh crore का loan book है. So the guidance is to grow at 15% CAGR, right? So now think about this, right? If I have NBFCs and banks, right, which can grow at a faster pace in terms of AUM and can get me operating leverage, why do I want to go for a guidance of 15% AUM, right? That too also for the next 3 years. Now people would come and tell me like, ये guidance chalega because your price to book is also low. But ये भी आप देख सकते हो, the price to book is also low because of the guidance, right? But also having said that, I just don't want to play the valuation game when the company outlook is not that great. I am the kind of person who would probably want to pay a higher price to book for a financial growing at 30-40%. Are you getting my point? I would want my top line to grow at 20-30% for a non-financial company and pay a PE ratio of 50 and a low market cap. Then a guy, I am not that kind of person who would endorse, says, for example, buy something below book, buy something sasta, buy something, but buy something with low AUM growth, buy something with low profitability growth, no operating leverage, but still buy because the stock is cheap, right? Sometimes what investors forget is they forget to ask the question, why is the stock cheap, right? तो वो भी आपको देखना पड़ेगा यहाँ पे. right? Gearing is at 3.6. I would want this company to have a better gearing now that it is merged, right? They can now get more and more efficient, right? Auto borrowers ko ye MSME ka loans de sakte hain, MSME ko auto loans de sakte hain. So of course, and they can increase the gearing as well. The credit cost of the business like shoot up a bit, right? Because kya hua, right? Basically, when they merged, they did a stress testing on the entire book, which is a good sign actually, because Shriram is a very well managed business. So but the credit cost went up. It's a one time, because going forward the credit cost will come down. Pat mein thoda sa zyada benefit aayega, but they did a stress testing of the entire book because now it's consolidated under one umbrella. Shriram is a beneficiary of the recovery in CV, PV and the CE space. मतलब of course अगर auto cycle अच्छा चलता रहा तो Shriram Finance will keep doing well. And of course the merger procedures are 100% complete. So before I end this, like this is probably something that the point is like I don't generally like cover companies in ka growth rate itna kam hai. You all know, right? I'm a growth investor, but the point is this: like there are two kinds of investor out there. Ek hai like you play the growth and the momentum in a way. Like you're chasing the companies with ROE of 30% plus, growth of 40% plus, right? Available at 5 times book, jo dilute kar rahe equity at 5.5 times book. That's one game. This game of say playing Satin Creditcare and Shriram is another game. Why? Because यहाँ पे they are, the price to book is less than 1 or just around 1, 1.2. But यहाँ पे you would see, right, कि like इनका, जैसे I'll tell you, Satin का ROE is 15%, right? Satin का ROE is not 30%, right? If you look at Arman, say for example, Arman का Q4 का ROE number is 41%. Satin का Q4 का number ROE is 20%, so half of Arman's. That is why Arman demands a higher valuation than Satin. और आज अगर Satin पैसे उठाने जाए, Satin will have more difficulty raising funds at book value than Arman has in trying to raise money at 4.5 times to 5 times book value. So what game do you play, right? सब वही point है, right? सबका अपना अपना अलग अलग investment horizon होते हैं, right? सबका अलग अलग long term का horizon होते हैं, सबका अलग अलग मतलब preferences होते हैं in life. Like somebody can buy Shriram and make money. Somebody can buy Arman and make money. Somebody can even buy ICICI Bank and still make money, right? So it's up to you. And my job is not to, recommend you any stock. That's why my job is to give you the opinion. My job is to not opinion, sorry. My job is to give you the opportunities, right? Whether it's a high growth, high price to equity stock, or let's say, for example, a low growth, low price to equity, low price to book, but they're turning around, right? Like, for example, the kind of businesses like Kalyan Jewelers, the other workshop that we did, right? Of course, you'll get the recording as well with the link. So say, for example, businesses which are turning, which are coming back, other businesses like Usha Martin type, right? Jo, let's say, apna steel ka plant ko bech diya, and the ROE of the remaining businesses, because remaining businesses became more efficient, right? So that ROE got a boost, stock started going up. So there are so many special situations where you can also make money, not only by chasing top line and bottom line growth, but there are many companies that say, for example, jo inorganic merge kar dete. There's a Pricol and Minda is another good example, right? Minda is chasing Pricol ka stock. Pricol ka bhi management are buying Pricol ka business, right? And that's why, as a result of which, you see why, because Pricol is doing very well. I've already covered that in one of the workshops. So these are the kind of special situations, right? You see, of course, good management buying a company with poor management, kicking the poor management out, and then their good management coming board. The example that comes into my mind is that company, CG Power, right? The CG Power example back in 2019, stock went up from 5 to 200, right? So there are so many special situations like mergers, acquisitions, then divestment. Then let's say somebody tells you that they want to take the company private, like Vedanta want to take the company private in 2020, because that is the management's way of telling you, okay, like going forward, we are seeing great profits, but we don't want to share it with anybody else. Or else why would somebody want to take all the shares private? So जब कोई कंपनी अपना शेयर्स को प्राइवेट का बात करेगा, मतलब आपको पता चलेगा कि कुछ अच्छा ही हो रहा है, मैं तो वो खर्चा करके क्यों वो शेयर्स को वापस लेगा रहा, राइट? तब तो वो अपने शेयर्स को बेच के भागेगा, वो खरीदने का क्यों कोशिश कर रहा है? So all these kind of things you need to take into consideration, right? So please ensure when you're in the market, you use your head wisely, right? Look around effectively and see what's going on, right? And study companies in detail rather than just look at a price to book of less than 1 and an ROE of 20 and start jumping like, okay, fine, there's a great opportunity here. Like, so I don't own any of these two companies. Shriram, I feel they are not a growth engine. They can't grow at 25-30% even after the merger. And Satin is basically, I need to track it for 3, 4, 5 quarters. Like, I can't get into like put my hand in fire and think, oh, microfinance chal raha hai. And of course, I have better companies than Satin when it comes to an ROE and a growth rate as well. I mean, I have companies growing at 30% ka outlook hai. in FY24 management का guidance है, right? 30-35% का over a satin that says 25% का करेगा with a 15% ROE, right? So I have better opportunities, and of course I just don't look at valuation and buy because मुझे सस्ता मिल रहा है, because many a times सस्ता में आपको कचरा भी मिलता है. I'm not saying these two are कचरा, but having said that, also ensure हर सस्ता चीज अच्छा नहीं होता है, right? जैसे हर महंगा चीज भी अच्छा नहीं होता है. So you cannot generalize everything in the stock market. On that note, thank you for listening.